Okay, today we are going to go through a hip internal rotation stretch with PAILs RAILs. So I have Ryan here to demonstrate how to get into the stretch. For hip internal rotation, we're getting into the 90-90 position again, just like a hip external rotation stretch. So for internal rotation, we are going to work on the back leg here. So he's going to find the 90 degrees at his knee and hip. Foot's also at 90 degrees. Foot is up nice and as far as he can here. This hip also in 90 degrees. He is going to start by sinking his hip down and towards the turf or the ground here a little bit. So by doing that, he's getting more into internal rotation. From there, we're going to increase the stretch a little bit. So he is going to shift his hands towards his leg here. So one on the opposite side. What we're looking for, again, is internal rotation stretch. So he's gonna feel all of this stuff, a very big, deep stretch here. It's very uncomfortable because the capsule is what we're looking to stretch here, along with some of the other outside muscles, and the capsule is the deepest part of our joint that attaches to the bone. So it's going to feel like a very deep, uncomfortable stretch. What we're looking to avoid here is pinching in the hip. So any pinching is not ideal, especially if it's in the front of the hip here. That is a closing angle joint pain, and you want to avoid that symptom. So do not push into that. Actually, you want to be out of it. Nothing there. Only a deep stretch allowed. To find this stretch, you may have to find a different position than Ryan. There are a couple other ways. You can sink back a little bit and then just work on letting your hip fall to the ground here. That is a little bit of a less intense option for people who may not be quite ready for both hands on each side. So you're going to have to shift around based on your own hip anatomy, because it's important, again, that we find the feel and sensation for the stretch, not necessarily what it looks like on Ryan, because your anatomy is probably different than Ryan's. We all have a lot of different anatomies. So find the correct position for you where you feel the stretch out here and not any pinching in your hip. So Ryan is sitting here, and we're going to hold this stretch for 1.5 to 2 minutes. 2 minutes is ideal. Then we are going to perform PAILs RAILs contractions, 2 contractions. We're going to imagine it's been 2 minutes now. As Ryan is sinking into the stretch, by the way, when he is doing his stretch, he is relaxing, trying not to fight it. The more we fight it, the more the nervous system will fight back. So do your best to relax, do some deep breathing here. Once that 2 minutes is up, Ryan's now going to start PAILs contractions. PAILs contractions is contracting the stuff you were just stretching. So to do that, Ryan is first going to think about pushing his leg into the ground. So first, contract here, inhale in, trap the air here, then start to drive that leg down. We are starting with a 25% muscle contraction, building up to 50. He is now going to 75, and we are now at 100%. He is going to maintain that 100% for 30 seconds, driving that leg into the ground, rotating it in. Isometric contraction means there's no physical movement. He is working really hard here, but you are not seeing his leg move. When that 30 seconds is up, we're going to ramp back down, nice and easy, let those muscles relax. And then we're going to start the RAILs contractions. RAILs contractions are going to look like the opposite movement of what he was just doing. So he was just trying to drive down. We are now going to contract the opposite side, which is going to be out here, and he's going to try to lift that leg up. Nice and easy. It's not going to move, most likely. I don't want you to try to make it move to make it move, because then we start compensating. So he is trapping air into his abdomen again, slowly contracting, trying to lift that leg up as hard as he can. So we're starting at 25, building up to 50, up to 75, and now we are at 100%. Sustain that muscle contraction for 30 seconds again. And then when that 30 seconds is up, you can go ahead and relax and slowly come out of that stretch there. This is a pretty intense stretch, so you're going to want to come out of it slowly. Your hip's going to feel nice and stiff afterwards. So you're going to regress the steps that we did to get into that stretch. And that, my friends, is a hip internal rotation stretch with PAILs RAILs.